Okay, I want you to think about your current business and your life, really. I want you to think about where you are right now in your life and in your work. I want you to think about it on a scale or in terms of a scale of 1 to 10. And when you come up with that number, I want you to keep it in mind because I am going to come back to that in a second. Yes, I'm asking you to rate yourself just where you are right now, okay? With no judgment on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at this given moment in your personal life, in your relationships, in your business or career? Where are you? Because here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about transformation, and we're going to talk about how you can move the needle. So, wherever you put yourself on that scale of 1 to 10, if it's not a 10, hang out with me for a little bit longer because I'm going to share some ways that you can move the needle. And listen, if you're not at a 10, it's okay. Oftentimes, I'm not at a 10 either. And I think that it's just opportunity. When we realize that we're not exactly where we want to be, I think the most important question we can ask ourselves is how can we get there? How can I make my 6 a 10, or even how can I make my 6 an 8? I think it's just about understanding that we need to always focus on growth and we need to look at where we are at this given moment. What is making up our current self, our current business, our current state of relationship? And then ask ourselves how we want to move forward into this future self, into a future vision for our career, our relationships, our financial opportunities so that we can focus on moving forward and having growth. Now, I think when we do that, we have to probably look at three things. I want you to consider your mindset, your behavior, and your priorities. And I'm going to work backwards right now. So let's talk about our priorities. If we are not focused on using our time in the most effective way possible, and that's different than using our time in the most efficient way possible. What I'm talking about is understanding that not all things are created equal when it comes to our schedule. Not all of the activities we can focus on or spend our time on are the same because there are some things that when we dive into it, it will move the needle. It will help you get closer to your goals. We call those things our big rocks. I've talked about this here on Mojo before. It really is the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle. And all that Pareto principle is telling us is that there's this predictable imbalance to things in life. In other words, as I said, not everything is created equal when it comes to how we spend our time. When you think about a lot of the things that you might find yourself doing in a day, it's about acknowledging that there are some things that when you put your energy and your focus into it is going to allow you to see the results and get you closer to your goals. We call those activities our 20%. And as that starts to indicate, it's a short list. There are fewer things that we can put our time and energy into that actually can achieve big results. Gary Keller talks about this in his book, The One Thing, because what the one thing helps us understand is that by narrowing our focus, we can actually achieve greater results. When we get lost in a lot of the 80% activities or sort of the minutia, it might feel good temporarily because we're checking off the boxes and we're getting a lot of things done, but it tends to be a lot of busy work and not truly productive. And the difference again is you're being productive when things start to line up and you see the results from your actions start to bring you closer to the goals that you say you have. And I think it's about understanding that when we focus on the 20% activities, it's going to be, as I said, a shorter list, but with greater impact. So that's number one. In order for you to move from where you are at any moment to the future self, that vision you have for yourself and your business and all the things that are important to you, like your relationships and your goals financially, your health, your wellness. When we look about moving the needle and going from where we are at this moment, when I asked you when we first started talking today to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, put that number in your mind right now. And when you think about moving the needle from that spot to a 10, what has to change in terms of your priorities? Are you putting your time to the things that will make the biggest impact? So that is key. The second area that we want to examine is our behavior. So now we're getting clearer about what our priorities are. Now we have to examine what it is that we're doing. Are the behaviors that we find ourselves engaged in really productive in supporting our goals and helping us to move forward? Or could they actually be a distraction? Could they be holding us back? So let's start to unpack it a little bit more. So let's put into context. Let's say we're focused on your business right now. So when you think about your business and you answered my question about where you rate yourself currently on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say you gave yourself a 6. It's an honest answer. Right now, you're at a 6. You're not feeling like you're hitting your goals or that you're moving forward in the way that you'd like to. Perhaps you're struggling in some areas. It could be around prospecting and lead generating. It could be the amount of people that you have in your pipeline. It could even just be the type of transactions that you're involved in right now. Maybe nothing feels like it's coming easy. Whatever it is, there's a reason why you gave yourself that score. Now, when you think about moving forward, and again, maybe it's not taking one big quantum leap from 6 to 10. Maybe it is just moving from 6 to 7 and enjoying the incremental growth, the incremental progress, and then going from 7 to 8 and 8 to 9 and 9 to 10. And so far, we've talked about examining our priorities, and now we're talking about examining our behaviors. In terms of your business and in terms of feeling like you're not really hitting your goals and your lead gen time or your prospecting is not producing any new business, let's look at priorities. How are you designing your day? Are you working in this 80-20 principle? Are you spending more time on your big rocks, on your 20% activities, or are you finding yourself getting lost in a lot of the 80%? So an example would be when you look at your schedule every day, do you have enough time blocked for prospecting? Do you have all of the activities that you could be focused on that will generate new business clearly time blocked in your calendar? It's about taking a hard look and examining where you're spending your time and are your priorities lining up with what you say you want. Now we're talking about behavior as the second opportunity. So again, you might have the time blocked on your calendar, but are you following through? Are you engaged in the right activities? Because that is really the key. When you think about growing your business, where should you be spending most of your time? It's probably going to be when we think about lead generation, there are two activities that drive new leads. One is prospecting and the other is marketing. Now, prospecting is what you're doing to find new business or new contacts, adding people to your database, right? So you have to examine what it is that you're doing every day to go out there and meet new people. Because if you're sitting in your office expecting someone to call you or knock on the door and say, "Hi, I want to do business with you," you're going to wait a long time. I think it's about getting out there and meeting people and talking to people. Whatever business or industry you're in, you've got a lot of knowledge that you can share. You've got a lot of experience. You've got a lot of tools that you have at your disposal. And there are people waiting to hear from you. There are people who want to work with you. And there are people who already need what you have to offer. The problem is they don't know where to find you because you're sitting in your office waiting for them to call you. And it's really your job to go out there and find them. So it's really about identifying the people, the places, and the activities that you can get into to prospect and meet new people and add them to your sphere, add them to your database. It doesn't matter what business you're in. I know you all know I'm in real estate and I've been coaching real estate agents for 14 years now, but this applies to any business, any industry. The second part of generating new business, generating leads, is to understand that some of your activity has to be centered around marketing. And marketing is creating messaging that can go out to the people that know you. And you can do that in a multiple of ways. It could be sending out valuable emails and pieces of information to your database. It could be in the form of a newsletter. It could be sharing content on social media or through videos. You might want to host your own podcast and be a resource in your field of expertise. So it's about sending out messaging Not just the typical, hi, I'm another salesperson looking to do business with you, but really figuring out how you can separate yourself from the rest, how you can show up as a leader in your industry, and how you can create content that is educational, informative, valuable, that really is of service all in itself. So, in other words, you have to be willing to give a little piece of your knowledge away, even if it means they may never call you. So, if you can become known as that local expert in your field, and you can create value, and you can share ideas, and you can educate, and you can support, and you can answer questions, you're going to become that person that people go to. And eventually, it'll be for a lot more than just information. It will be to do business with you. So, that's important to understand. So we just talked about ways to really move your business forward by generating leads. It's through number one, prospecting, and number two, marketing. And that's just an example that I chose to use with you right now in terms of behaviors or the actions that would move you from your current self or your current state of business to the future state that you really want. Moving the needle from the 6 to a 7 to an 8 to a 9 to a 10. Now, there's one final piece in this whole conversation that we need to talk about. And I guess I could say I saved the best for last. And some of you might already be guessing what it is. And it's mindset. See, all the things we just talked about, and there's probably 17 more things I could share with you that would help you move the needle and help you move forward in any area of your life. But I think that these are the top three. It's knowing your priorities, identifying the right behaviors to spend your time on that line up with those priorities, that line up with your goals. And then lastly, it's your mindset. Because here's the thing, guys, whatever you tell yourself is right. Whatever you believe is going to be your reality. Now, you can change what you're thinking at any given moment and shift your reality into something very different. Your mindset is 95% of your success right now. And I think that's the most important part of examining where you are and how to move the needle and how to make your life a 10 is to really get honest with yourself and really understand what it is you're saying all day to yourself, what beliefs you're holding on to. Because if you're thinking that right now the economy is challenging, the market is tough, there's not enough business out there, you've tried everything, there's nothing left to do, whatever it is that you're telling yourself, you're right. You're right, because you're creating that reality. So I'm here to tell you that a slight shift in what you're thinking can really create a dramatic change in your perception. Because your perception is just the lens you're seeing the world through. To be honest with you, we don't experience the world the same way. We experience the world the way we see it, the way we think about it, the way we feel about it. And if we could just change how we're thinking and feeling, if we could be honest and examine some of the beliefs we're holding on to, we could totally reframe our thinking and dramatically change the results that we're getting. I've been there myself. I've experienced a lot of challenge and a lot of struggle. And sometimes I've had to look back and be honest with myself and get real and say, you know what it is? You just have to change the way you're thinking. And the moment I decided to be resilient and bounce back from that thinking was the moment that things started to change for me. And look, I understand that everyone's going through different things in their life, and I'm here to send you a big hug if you are going through something challenging right now. I want to say that whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it could be temporary, and I just want you to know that you're loved and supported, and that everything you're experiencing in your life right now, whether you're ready to hear it or not, is a result of your decisions. It's a result of your choices, and it's a result of how we're thinking. And so if you're really determined to change things in your life, if you're determined to move the needle, if you're determined to make your business or your life a 10, I'm not saying it'll be easy. It might be simple, but it may not be easy. But it really can start with what you're thinking right now. Listen, some of you might be thinking and listening to this saying, this is a lot of BS, and I think I'm going to turn it off. And I get it. But I know there's someone listening to this right now, and this is exactly what you needed to hear. You needed to hear that you have the power. You needed to be reminded that you don't need to be a victim of your own thinking, and you needed to be reminded that you have every opportunity in front of you to start to make things different. And again, it might be in small ways. It might be that you need some help, might be that you need to talk to someone, might be that you need to get some coaching, get some mentorship, read a book, take a class, right? I get it. You may have to roll up your sleeves and really dig in, and that's okay because you have one life to live. And whatever it is that you picture, when you picture your life at 10, is your opportunity. You deserve that vision. If you can see it, it's yours to have. Now we just have to figure out how to get there. I want you to take a look at where you are at any given moment right now in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your finances, in your health, maybe even in your spiritual journey. Use the Wheel of Life tool that we have available for you. It's actually a free download on this podcast. And assess where you are. That's what the Wheel of Life exercise is all about. It's helping you to look at your life broken down into compartments. And it's an assessment tool that you can use as often as you'd like. I use the Wheel of Life exercise myself probably once a quarter to ask myself the same questions I'm asking of you. It's to really just get honest about where we are at any given moment. And look, life is fluid, so we're going to feel like we're in different places in our life at different times. That's normal. Yet, if you have a goal and you have a vision and you're struggling to really get on track with that, let's take a look at why. And let's examine where we are. In order to do that, you have to know where you're starting from. And basically what you're doing is what we call a gap analysis. So if this is where I am in any area of my life, but I choose or want to be here, then I have to figure out how to bridge that gap. And this is really what this conversation is about, is to inspire you to assess that and to take some actions around where you need to bridge the gap. So again, where are you versus where you would like to be? How do you start to bridge the gap? I think it's about examining the 3 areas we talked about: priorities, behaviors, and finally, the most important piece, your mindset. Because if you believe it's possible, it is. If you have that little feeling inside of you, that knowing that you're meant for more, that you're capable of more, that is what I want you to believe, because that is true. You are capable of great things. You are destined for success. You are designed to achieve great things. The universe is here to support you. There is abundance all around you. You just have to look for it. So I trust this has inspired you and has motivated you to take some action. I'm so excited for you because I know you're going to move the needle, and I know that you're going to get on track to, again, not pursue perfection. I just have to say this before I end our conversation for today. I'm using this metaphor, right? The 10. I want to make sure that you're not walking away from this feeling like, oh, I have to be perfect, because that's not it. Because whatever you believe today is your vision, your 10 vision for your business, for all those areas of your life that we've gone through here on that wheel of life. Whatever you think makes you a 10 right now is great. And when you get there, you're going to want to pop it again. You're going to want to say, okay, so now what's next? So it's always about growing. It's always about evolving. So whatever makes your life feel like a 10 right now, trust me, as you start to achieve that, experience it, enjoy it, receive the results and the opportunities that come with that, you're going to be motivated to get to the next level again. So now you're 10 suddenly becomes another 6. And then you're on the pursuit to more growth and more opportunity. And that's exciting. That means that we're always working to extend or to push the limits of our own potential. And I'll tell you, what I once thought was a 10 in my life 5 years ago is bigger now. And so when I think about where I am at this moment, maybe it's a 6 on my scale or a 7 on my scale. At one time, it was the 10. And now I'm excited by that. I'm inspired by that because I get to go again. I get to grow more. And now I get to push to the next level of whatever I think 10 is. And then I get to move forward even more. So I just want to say this is not about perfection. It is everything to do with progress. It has everything to do with growth. It has to do with not accepting the status quo of your life at any given moment. I want you to leave here today knowing that it's never about this is as good as it gets. Take that right out of your vocabulary. Take that thinking right out of your mind. It is not about this is as good as it gets. We don't ever arrive. We have the opportunity to constantly grow, evolve, push past our limitations, achieve amazing things. And when you do that, you'll inspire someone else to do the same. So you're awesome. Thank you for listening. I know that you found exactly what you needed from this today. And I'm going to challenge you to take advantage of this good feeling. Make sure you go right now and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the episodes that are to come from Monday Morning Mojo. And because I know you found this to be inspiring, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Right now, I want you to share it with at least one person. And the reason why I say that is because I get inspired every time I teach or speak or coach. And I think we have the power to connect with each other and to share good things. If you found this to be a good thing today, pass it on. I appreciate you doing that. I will see you next time on Monday Morning Mojo. Have a great week.